Greetings. Stay a while and listen. Today, we're going to be talking about how you should not go to law school unless, and I have 6 reasons lined up. But first, you might remember in my top English mistakes video, I mentioned that MS period was pronounced Ms. and not Miss. Most people say Miss for MS period and MISS. That's just one of the many things I learned in law school. If you didn't know, I dropped out of law school in 2013. But I don't like to use that phrase. Dropped out. I quit. But I didn't quit either. It was a slow process. A slow burn. I went through the motions and then I got through the first semester. And then for the second semester, I was really not feeling it. And by the end, I didn't go to any of my exams, and that was the end of it. So the first reason don't go to law school unless, number one, it was your dream to be a lawyer or a judge or whatever as a kid. For me, I never dreamed of being a lawyer or a judge or anything. I only went to law school because I couldn't find any jobs. I guess that's not a stupid reason, but it's not a good reason either. A lot of kids, I would overhear people talking, and one or two of them, you could tell that it was their passion, their lifelong dream to be a lawyer. And I kind of envied them because they actually wanted to be there, and I didn't. And don't go to law school unless you have a full scholarship. Now, what I mean by that is, even if you didn't dream of being a lawyer, it might be an okay idea to go to law school if you have a full scholarship, because that's what I had. I didn't go to a top tier school. I went to a mid-tier school because that's the only place that offered me a full scholarship. So, yeah, I was reading about how the job market for law school graduates was not good. So I said, I'm just going to go to law school if I can get a full scholarship. And I got one. I'm not going to say where, but it's almost like a free education, but not really, because there's also the time and the stress on your body and your mind. And books are incredibly overly priced and expensive. If I was, trying to make money, I'd buy a bunch of textbook companies. And here's my next reason, don't go to law school unless, number 3, you like studying, researching and writing papers. Now this may seem weird, but there are actually people that like studying. They like just sitting down at a desk and reading books and writing notes and stuff, highlighting. People actually like that. And generally it seems to be the females. A lot of women at my law school were very studious, and it's not like they were jumping up and down for joy. But it seemed like they liked studying, which is a weird concept to me because I never liked studying ever in my life. And through middle school up until, I never really studied in high school. In middle school I did a little bit, but then I got sick of it in high school. And at the beginning of college I didn't study, but then I realized I had to study and I hated it, but I forced myself to anyway. And researching. I hated researching as well. There is a lot of researching in law school, even if it's just one class. One class is called RWA, Researching Writing, and it's basically reading a lot of case law. The problem isn't the research itself. It's actually, yeah, it is the research itself. It's finding the relevant information that you need. It's not like Googling. You have to go to these weird professional law websites. You have to know how to navigate them. And it's really a pain in the you know what. Then you have to write those papers. They don't really teach you how to write law papers. You know? They don't even teach you how to write exams. You know, you might think that after you get a bad grade on your first written paper, that they might teach you what you did wrong, but they don't. They don't even give you the paper back. You could read it at the office, but then they don't give you the paper back. It's like, how are you supposed to learn? What do they want? They don't tell you what they want. They don't tell you what style of writing they want or the content you have to write it in. I feel like I did badly on my first semester because I wrote with I didn't use my laptop to write, so I couldn't write as much, or I couldn't, write freely. I was limited by the speed of my penmanship. So number 4, don't go to law school unless you have a lot of support. By support, I mean family and friends around you physically. And if you're a loner like me, I went out of state. I had no friends, no family. I thought I could handle it, but turns out I couldn't. But actually, I probably could have, if I actually wanted to be there. But this is just a precaution. You can handle law school even if you hate it, if you have a lot of support. Number 5, don't go to law school unless you actually believe in the law, society, and civilization. That's a weird thing to say, but in law school you realize that the legal system, I call it the legal industry because that's really what it is. It's just another business, but they like to feel that they're better than everyone. They're above. They think they're better than a mom and pop grocery store or something, but they're not. I think the legal system is really corrupt and it favors the wealthy. So you have to file a motion in court or something. You need thousands of dollars. Of course, the reason for that is they don't want frivolous lawsuits from every Joe and Jane out there. But that also means that it favors the rich companies and people that can actually afford to file stuff. So it's not good. It's very corrupt. So yeah, this was probably a controversial statement, but the government, the law. I don't believe in the law. I don't believe the law keeps us safe. I don't believe the law is what makes society good or makes people good to each other. It's not the law. It's the goodness in everyone's heart that keeps us safe. It's not the law. It's the goodness inside. And that's the simplest way I can say it. Don't go to law school unless you have a high tolerance for stress. I knew I wanted to leave law school on the first day, on the first class that I actually attended. So after all the orientation in the summer, I went to the summer ceremony where everyone wore suits and dresses, and they gave you dinner, they announced your name in front of everyone. And that was nice, but the first day of class, it was so stressful. I mean, they prepare you for it. You have to stand up every time you speak. Well, not for every class, but it's very stressful so in any typical class, it's mandatory that they call on you once, and usually in a typical class you sit in a big auditorium like setting. If you've ever watched C-SPAN, you see how the speakers is all the way on the bottom, and you have people watching, and it goes up like this, like a stadium seating movie theater. So the teacher calls on you, you might have to stand up. They have microphones all over the room, so it can pick up your voice so that everyone hears you, but they don't work really well, especially if you have a soft voice like me. You know, it's really hard because not only do you have to speak loudly, you have to know what you're talking about, you have to be thinking at the same time. So for people who are not good at talking like I am, then it was really stressful. I wanted to leave the first day. First time I called my parents, I was in tears, and my mom was like, "You have to do this. You have to, blah blah blah." And my dad was a little nicer, more, I don't know what he said, but he just had a very understanding mindset. My mom, it was just like, "No, you have to." There's, it's like no options. But what I should have done was leave. Well, I signed a lease for a year on an apartment, so it would have been a huge waste of money to leave after the first day. So I think I did the right thing. I got a year's worth of law school education and life education, which was the most important thing. I realized all these things, and now I'm teaching them to you. So don't go to law school unless you really want to. Not because, and this is where the life advice comes in. Don't do anything just because people say you should or you have to do it. Don't do that. Do something because you want to do it. And whether you have to convince yourself you want to or not, but you shouldn't do that either. Search your heart. Figure out what you want to do. Of course, you can't do 100% what you want to do in this society. It's not, a magical dreamland where anything you want happens. But follow your heart and don't fart. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great day.